What's going on, everybody? Your man, Eric Wilson, Sports Arena, alongside three of the greats. Ruth Caguias, Sports Talk Florida. Michael Carotenuto, NBC Sports Radio, 1060 The Sports Hangover. And my man right there, Mr. Jake Rongholt, Turning Point Podcast, telling both sides of the story. So, we finally, ladies and gentlemen, we have a definitive start date for the NBA to return. As you can see, we are all in our NBA playoff mode already. 22 teams coming to O-Town. So, Mike, sorry, you got to just watch it on TV. The three of us will be there. We'll wave to you in the cameras. But
you are not going to be there. You wish. They're not letting you all in.
Okay. Make no mistake about it.
You won't be able to keep me out. So.
Exactly.
Okay, well, we'll
I'm
see
gonna
what
use
happens.
my Disney ID. Like
I got a bag of White Castle cheeseburgers that says you don't get in.
I'll take that bet.
All right.
I'll take that bet all day.
Maybe I'm in the Northeast at that time.
We won't talk about that right now, Jake. But anyhow, hey, so I mean, let's talk about it, ladies first. Ruth, you're probably the closest one to the wild world of sports. So yes. What's going on? What's the aura in the area?
I mean, so far, now that they've come out with the official date of when things are starting back up, there is a lot of excitement in the air. A lot of my friends that I work with at Disney, they're all very excited that all these teams are going to be in Disney. And even though they're going to be practicing social distancing, I'm sure that there are going to be players that are going to be coming out in the town. And I'm just hoping to run into some people. So I'm excited, super excited.
I mean, Mike, you said it earlier. This decision was a 29-1 vote. And the team that decided against it was Portland? Really?
Yep.
I mean,
look, they said they wanted a fair shot. They said they wanted a fair shot at the playoffs. And Damian Lillard, I think he voiced, what a lot of other players that on teams that are, like I said, that 7 through 10 range. I'll even say 8 through 10 because look, where Dallas is at in the West, I'm sorry, they shouldn't be a part of a play-in. I know the thing said 8-9, but Portland said no. I know Damian Lillard initially said that he wasn't going to play. He would be there with his team. He's going to come out. He's going to be with his team, but it's not worth it to play if they're. And I don't understand that. I think he will play, and I love Damian Lillard. That cat, that he can ball. But I love his game. But yeah, I mean, Portland voted no, which kind of surprised me. That was 29-1, but I guess they feel that. You guys are saying, you're saying players going out, Ruthie. I don't see it happening. I mean, again, I know they'll be around the practice facility and the hotel, but they do not want them interacting with other people, which would be counterproductive of getting back in. I mean, you look at what it means, obviously, to Orlando. And, when they said 2 spots, Orlando and Vegas, at first I thought Vegas would be the best because I'm like, oh, teams could stay in multiple hotels. But, I mean, you have 22 teams. Yes, you have more than 22 hotels, but, if each team's staying in one and then going to play somewhere else, Vegas just wasn't feasible that way. Mm-hmm. It makes sense. I mean, it was feasible, but I just saw a lot more roadblocks there than in Orlando. I think the less people that are around it, the better. It's going to be weird, but at least it'll be televised. So you'll have, broadcast media. It'll be interesting to see, all these facilities have been taking temperatures. So when you come in, so if you have anything, it's gonna be blown up. And if anybody tests positive, will they just cut it off? So
well, they've actually made the statement. I checked on the sports app that I follow that if they're going to be receiving tests daily, and if anybody on a team tests positive for COVID-19, they're going to quarantine that player and then keep testing all the players that he was around, obviously his teammates in the locker room. They're going to keep testing them, and the games will go on as they said.
So Jake, I mean, you have been a advocate of how well the NBA has kind of put themselves at the top of the list when it comes to preparing to reopen and preparing to resume play. What are your thoughts now, given that we have this date of July 31st being when they're going to start, and what Adam Silver is doing?
I think they've done an excellent job. They were able to fix the mistakes that they made back in May when they continuously put out timelines of May 1st and May 8th. And then they just said, all right, stop. Let's come up with a game plan and let's start to figure this thing out. There were so many different scenarios out there. Every single one, unfortunately, was wrong. And they came up with this 22 team, and they decided to do 8 games. They wanted to stick with the playoff system. My only question is to this is how are we going to do 4 rounds of 7-game series? I mean, it's tough enough to try and get through 3 rounds of this. Now we got to go through 4. And the understanding thing I want to know is how are they going to work this schedule out? What teams are going to be teamed up with each other? They're going to play each other twice before the playoffs. So there's still a lot of questions going with this. And then as Ruth said, that is correct about the quarantine. That was reported on The Jump with Rachel Nichols. And they talk explicitly about how the show is going to go on no matter what. We might have a problem where, a big-time superstar could have COVID-19, but they'll continue going down that road. We saw in college football today, 5 players of the Alabama Crimson Tide tested positive for coronavirus after attending there was 50 players that attended some kind of band celebration, and 5 of them tested positive. So, I mean, we're not out of the woods yet here, but it is great to see that the NBA is going to go through with this. There's going to be profit into this. This is going to help Disney World as well. And this is going to help sports fans who have been dealing with the COVID-19, with the movement. And now you got this to pretty much become kind of like an escape route for a couple hours. Another thought I want to know is how many games are we going to be playing per day? Are we going to be doing it like the Summer League? Or are we going to be doing it like every other day? So I'm very intrigued to see how they do this 8-game season and then how they're going to do these 4 rounds of 7-game series. And that is before, I might add, before the NBA Finals.
Yeah, because, right now, the plan calls for the players to arrive in Orlando July 7th, which gives them 3 weeks of time to practice, be in the same area for 3 weeks. So God forbid anybody shows up to Orlando and has contracted the virus, they will immediately be quarantined. Each team's playing 8 regular season games before they go to that 4-round playoff bracket that you speak of. I'm looking at this and I'm just trying to figure out dates, because they're saying the season is going to end no later than October 12th.
Right.
So it's like, okay, from basically July 31st, October 12th, you've got roughly 75 days. I mean, I think we might start seeing 2-a-days, or even, depending on the number of facilities available.
Well, they did
ahead,
say on the ESPN article and a few of the other articles, and I haven't heard back from some people I reached out to, but they were saying on ESPN, which was reporting that they're going to have 3 courts, and there's going to be 3 hours between games to give time for overtime, cleaning, and then warm-ups, obviously, for the next game. So, but they were saying there's going to be 3 courts. So with Jake, when you're saying, like, how are they going to get it done? I mean, yeah, it'll be televised. I'm sure maybe it'll, it might be like, think about mixing sports together. It might be like tennis, because you'll have 3 courts going on at once, but you'll have one broadcast, and then there'll just be updates from the other court. Again, I'm wanting to keep less people in. You still have to bring officials in. And that's the other thing, too, that you don't see about this, too. I mean, is every single NBA ref going to come in and just be there from, like you said, I mean, granted, they don't have to get there July 7th, but, from, say, it's like July 25th to October 12th. And then when you're done, are you going to be tested again? They're going to let you leave. But having the 3 courts, Jake, I mean, again, I could see it being like tennis, where you have your broadcast on the main court and then just look-ins on the other courts, like, oh, this is the score.
Yeah, but you can't disrespect these teams like that, Mike. This is the playoffs, man. This is completely different. So you mean to tell me because on one court you may have LeBron, that's going to be the main course, so then Giannis doesn't get any love, or Kawhi doesn't get any love, or
I'm just saying they said 3 courts, so it depends. Yeah, it depends how. I mean, and again, you have to think of sound optics too, because yes, I know with technology you can drown some stuff out. But just think of like, if there's 3 courts within that facility, I mean, yeah, how far apart are they? I know it's not going to be like, a field house or a barnyard where it's just going to be like a little, partition at another court and a partition at another court. But, I mean, yeah, it depends. I mean, it depends. You could do it like that. But, okay, so if those games are going at the same time, though, to counter your question, too, is if those games are going on at the same time, okay, so ESPN has playoffs, yeah, they can air it on ABC, TN. It'll be like college basketball at that point. You're going to be picking which game you want to watch just because of the setup up.
Okay, and that's fine. I would rather have as the viewer, I would rather have the choice to watch, like you said, let's take TBS, let's take ESPN, and let's take ABC. And you take those 3 channels and say, okay, we're going to play basketball over these 3 channels. I, as the viewer, if I want to be able to watch one particular game, I would rather go watch that full game than watch, let's just say, a Boston versus whomever.
Washington.
Well, fine. Yeah, for argument, Washington. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
But it's like I don't agree with that whole we're just going to look into that other game. And here's the thing that I think we're also not factoring in. There's going to be minimal fans at this because we already know that. They're not going to let anybody in. I mean, listen, we got the White Castle bet that I'm saying that media-wise I will be there. I'm speaking it into fruition.
Manifest it. Let's do it.
Thank you. Yes.
I root for you. I'm just telling you, like,
right here.
I think it's just going to be the broadcast team, and there probably won't even be a court report. I literally don't think there will. Like, I think it's going to be minimal on that end. How many people are you going to have in a truck? Like, I mean, having called games, like, you need those trucks are big, but at the same time, like, how many are you having in there?
But here's the thing with media, Mike. And I'm sorry, Ruth. I really quick, and I'll let you go. Here's the thing with media. You have a podium that you have set in these conference rooms. So you can still social distance the players, the coaches, and all those people because you have the media who is socially distant away and still able to get their questions out. There can be minimal interaction and still have a media presence there. Go ahead, Ruth. I'm sorry.
That's the point that I was going to make. Like, with media being at these games, they obviously want as much coverage for and broadcasting for these games. So maybe they'll just cut out the whole, let's not go in the locker rooms and, interact with the players face to face. Let's stay in our press boxes. After the game, when we want to speak to the coaches, they be up on their podium and they're 10, 15 feet, from us. So I feel like that's something that they really need to consider.
Right, but everybody in the media needs to be 6 feet apart.
Mm-hmm.
No, we can. No.
It's also this question.
Go ahead, Jake.
I understand this too. If you're going to bring in media in there, are you saying to those 22 teams that their beat writers are going to be there, or are you going to go nationwide and have guys like Dave McMillan? How can I put this here? Put it like Chris Haynes or someone from ESPN. So that's just another question mark there. So are they going to do beat writers? Or are they actually going to do national writers? And then you also mentioned about the networks with TNT, with ESPN, with ABC. That's understandable. But I want to doubt if this is kind of more like the Junior NBA Championship. I was a runner during that for Fox, and they had one game going. Then they took about an hour and a half to clean up everything, get the other teams in there, and then let's do another one. So it could be interesting to see if the NBA decides, okay, we're going to have our first game at 11. We're going to bring in 2 more teams. Next one starts at 2 o'clock. Next one starts at like 6 o'clock or something like that. So even though it's just a small step going forward, because now we need to figure out what networks are going to be involved. Are they going to use local television? Are they going to – so there's still just a lot to really unpack with this. And then not to mention, even though everybody is saying they are expected to approve this tomorrow, there might be a little wrinkle in with the players tomorrow too. We don't know. But for now, that's all we got.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mean, I can't argue that point. Mike, I will say this to you. The fact that you can socially distance people, you can – I mean, right now in Florida, the rule is no more than 50. But to Jake's point, here is how I personally think it's going to go down. And we'll take ESPN. Okay, let's say they're covering the quote unquote major game. You're going to have, of course, ESPN in there. You're going to have the beat writer for both the home and visiting team, depending on who it is. You're going to have somebody of a national news, so NBA TV, because I totally forgot about NBA TV.
Yeah.
I think so. Right
Well,
there,
it's run by Turner.
that's four. That's four people right there.
Yeah, but I disagree.
You're gonna have hold on, Mike. Hold on. You're gonna have the Athletic. You know they're gonna be in there, so that's five. Orlando, because it's in Orlando, you're gonna have someone locally from Orlando, so that's six. You're gonna have a radio station personality who covers the Magic, that's seven. Because I can tell you right now, I know who that is, and I'm willing to double up our bet on White Castle Burgers that he's gonna be in there.
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna have the Fox Sports affiliate, that's eight.
Okay.
So I'm saying right there, that's eight different reporters who can be socially distant and still cover the games. Now, if you take that and you place that in these three courts that you're talking about, that's 24 people. We're only at half what is recommended here in Florida. So they can open it up. That's why I say to you, it's a strong possibility.
I understand that, but you just keep adding people when they don't want to add. I mean, they're saying no families. So if they're saying no families, you're not, no kids, wife's kids, anything like that, no families. Yeah, I'm not saying there could be like one plucked reporter from like a beat writer. And yeah, national wise, like if they're covering it, like there could be one person. I just think they're going to keep it as minimal as possible. And I think that's, Jake's saying a hiccup with the players. I don't think they'd report this if it wasn't going to be agreed on. I'm with you. There's always that 1% where somebody's like, okay, wait, we want to change this, because I know a lot of the article too was talking about next season and how that was going to unfold. But that being said, to the people there, look, as long as it's safe, I get it. But, yeah, you can have players up top, but okay, then you're not allowed to everybody's going to have to write everything down or hold their phones by them. You're not going to be able to put any recorders up by the players. Called out the Rudy Gobert rule.
No, you're right. You're right.
It's just, I just think that there can be report. Believe me, like, and not even because I'm not close. Like if I was there, yeah, I would want to, of course, cover it, but I understand it's going to be limited to, you're not going to have live, obviously, pregame shows. I mean, everything you want to add there, like this is what they're trying to stop. And to your guys' point before, like Ruthie said, if one player gets it, like, okay, they're quarantined and they're going to test and it's going to go on. But who are they around? So, I mean, again, it could be like, well, teammates, another team, who are all these people around? So that's why I just think there will be, yes, reporters there. I'm not going to tell you no, but I'm just going to say it's going to be very restricted, I think, and very minimal, and people will have to actually like collaborate and write their stuff from afar.
Mike, I gave you very minimal and very restrictive based on what I just told you. Because
right,
here's the thing. Here's the thing you're forgetting. I'm talking about reporters, media. Players and athletes, players and coaches, they're completely separated from the rest of us.
Right, no, I get that.
So that's why I'm saying to you, the only way that there would be any really type of interaction would be if, in fact, you were on the court or on the bench or right behind the players. As far as media goes, I think there is going to be even more than what I suggested with the 8 that I gave you. And that's because they want to make sure that they capitalize on this and get every avenue out, but do it in such a way that the players, the coaches, the trainers, all of those people are not directly in contact with the media. Because I tell you this much, if you let one, let's just say, for example, John Denton is the Orlando Magic's guy. He writes for them. He rolls with the team, the whole 9 yards. If you sit there and tell me that John Denton is going to be the only person allowed to speak to these teams, I'm telling you right now, it's going to fail. No disrespect to him because he's great at what he does, but he's only providing one side of what's going on. And granted, he can be unbiased and play both sides, but you need to have other people there to provide that different perspective within the confines of socially distancing.
Well,
and making sure you test these people.
Well, and you just brought up another avenue, though, too, when you said radio, because here's the thing. These teams have their own radio, obviously, crews, which I don't think that they're going to include. I'm sorry, not every team. They don't – I'm not saying they don't want, but, okay, so ESPN could cover it radio-wise, but then all the affiliates across the country that have those teams, they get no charge they take from the ESPN feed because there's no way you're sending 22 radio affiliates out. Well, 21 because Orlando's already there. So 21 other radio. I mean, again, that's just more people and more stuff to add. And I don't see – you're right. He wouldn't be the only one. But, sometimes I know like you said, the Athletic. Well,
they'll be there.
Fine. The Athletic is there. But or the beat reporter. But a lot of times with beat reporters, especially here, there's other reporters from the publication. So you're obviously cutting that out. You're just getting the beat report. So
and
what I'm
that's
saying
fine.
is, I'm not saying that you can't, but I'm saying if they're going to be in a press conference room, how are they going to be 6 feet away from each reporter, be 6 feet away from each other?
Well, that's easy enough, Mike. Mike, listen, that's a done deal. I can tell you from being at the Amway Center, and both Jake and Ruth can attest to this, you can set the conference room for the Orlando Magic. You can set that conference room up to where the players and coaches come in from a completely different entrance. Yeah. So there's no contact with them. And you can put, and I'm willing to bet this, I haven't done it, so you can't hold my feet to the fire on this one, but I'm willing to bet you could put at the very minimum 6 feet apart, socially distant, you could put 20 to 24 people in that room, 6 feet apart, and have everybody be socially distant, but have 24 different people in there for a press conference.
I agree.
Yeah, but what about at the facility at Disney, though? Because it's different than the Amway Center.
Right, I don't know. I've never been to that facility, so I don't know. I would defer to Ruth on that one, but I'm just telling you.
It's huge. And they have a lot of conference space where they could have these after game press conferences. There's plenty of space on that property.
Hey, I don't want to sound like negative Nancy. I want people to write and get back to work. I'm just saying, I think the NBA, like Jake's saying too, having a plan is one of those things where, okay, this is who we're getting. How are they getting here? I mean, you can control how the teams get there, but with now, if it's a B reporter coming out with the team, you can control everybody. Everybody gets tested before they go for 3-4 days straight because you can come up negative one day, like you and I talked about, Eric, and be positive the next day. So, I mean, that's the testing is going to have to keep going from now until obviously. I mean, it doesn't have to be every day now. It could be every other day.
Yeah,
but that last week has got to be every day before they leave for Orlando.
You're right.
Well, the true test is gonna happen June 30th. That's when that's when training camp begins for the teams, and then they're gonna have a few weeks together, and they're gonna be tested, and we're gonna see what this all happens. Once July 7th happens, to see how many people tested positive, how many people are okay, are we good with this? All right, let's get them down to Orlando. So we have to take this 1 week at a time right now, starting June 30th, before we decide, all right, we're going to break this down. We're going to have so much fun with this. The NBA is back. The NBA is back for now. I mean, we're going to find out June 30th through July 6th to see if this is actually going to continue to happen. So like I said, I'm just taking this 1 week at a time, starting June 30th, but I'm happy to see that the NBA is back with the media too. If the players do ratify this tomorrow, then that means they can start talking to the media companies, start talking to ESPN, TNT, ABC, and then understanding, what media members can we bring in? Who's going to be at the top echelon? Who are the ones that are still getting paid to be doing what they love at that point? So you talk about John Denton, for example. You talk about the Lakers beat writer for The Athletic, and also the local stations. Is Wesh going to be there? Is Fox 35 going to be there? Or are they just going to have one network just cover the Magic the entire time? So, like I said, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen next. All we want is just to ratify this and let's move on. But like I said, watch June 30th through July 6th. Watch for the updates, the storylines, and see if this thing is going to happen or not.
Yeah, and to concur what you said earlier, Mike, about the players not being able to like go out to eat, they are actually stating that all players and coaches are going to be able to golf around the Disney area, because the Disney area has great golf course there, as well as being able to eat around the surrounding, eat at restaurants in the surrounding area, which would be awesome because I work at Disney Springs, and Disney Springs is obviously very close to where they're going to be hosting these games. So I might, have the satisfaction of being able to serve and make drinks for some of these players.
Another thing, Ruth, you said that you work at Disney Springs right now. How has business been since Disney
Absolutely
Springs
terrible. It's been terrible. I've been scheduled 7 shifts. I've been called out of 5 of them. It's been so slow, especially earlier this week when all these protesting started. They actually decided to close the restaurant. So my restaurant has been closed again for the past 3 days, and they are unsure when they're going to open, because with the curfew and everything, they didn't see it like beneficial for them to just be open for a couple of hours, So once again, I'm unemployed.
Well, yeah, Jake, you bring up a good point too, though, when you said the athletic writer for the Lakers. Okay, time out. The LA Times beat writer, I'm sorry, is probably going to get, if you're going to go out, I love the Athletic, so I'm not saying this in a derogatory way, but how are you taking the Athletic LA Lakers writer over the LA Times beat writer for the Lakers? It's just, that's what I'm saying.
Bad for whoever has to make these decisions.
But although inevitably, here's the thing too, though. Here's the thing how they can help solve it. What are we doing right now? We are sitting here in a Zoom meeting, so they could watch the game, and then they can have a press conference on Zoom. They have the technology there to set it up. So for those that can't come, yes, some will be there asking questions, but if anybody else wants to get a question in, they can be a part of it that way as well. So I'm with you. I just think, again, when it comes down to, and like I said, I'm not disrespecting the Athletic because it hasn't been around as long, but using the LA Times as an example, I mean, come on, the New York, if the Knicks were ever any good, but I mean, if the Post were to be there, you know what I'm saying? Everybody can laugh about that. The Knicks are terrible, but that's fine.
They are.
But no, I mean, again, and like you're saying, yes, the coaches and players, but again, if the teams are there, I mean, I can get players mixed, and again, their families aren't going to be there. Obviously, there's going to be no fans in the stadium, which there shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, like I said, I want them, obviously, I'm in it. I want them to get back to work. I wish somehow I had an in to get there and cover it too. I mean, that would be phenomenal. But, again, I just see it like Jake's saying too, and we've all said from the beginning, it's about safety, and the NBA and Adam Silver and, the board, they kind of, okay, this is our timeline, this is what we need to do. And, again, I think that there'll be a lot of press conferences, video pressers. You want to ask a question, you'll be able to watch the game, and you can ask questions from that. I know it is different when you're there and you can look down at a bench during a timeout, or if you're sitting at the scorer's table, you can kind of look over, you can see, you get a different feel. I get it, but since there's no fans in the stadium, there's really no feel to get. So, I mean, for the most part, but
I hear you. I just, and
I hope you guys. Oh, but you guys are all going to be wearing masks too.
That's fine.
No doubt. I wear a mask when I DoorDash.
I wear a mask every day when I go into the office. I have no problem wearing a mask, Mike.
Oh no, I'm not saying you do. I'm just saying that's.
No.
That's my girl.
No.
Oh
man.
This is basketball.
I'm okay with wearing a mask.
This is basketball. That will not be allowed during the NBA.
This is allowed all the time.
Hold on. My heart skipped a beat, Ruthie. I have a star ring for you. One day.
A star ring?
A ring, yes.
Anything that has a blue star on it, I want.
Oh, it'll be like a blue star. It's not a.
Jake demands proposal here.
I actually made this mask too out of a really old Terrell Owens jersey that I had.
Oh, you hadn't burned it yet? Okay.
Oh yeah.
This
Eric wants
just
the bird,
became
even though he
sad.
should have been the MVP of the Super Bowl, and he was the only one that showed out. But that's okay.
This is
On
an
one
NBA
leg.
conversation, ladies
What
and
a
gentlemen.
great
So I
sorry.
apologize
Sorry.
for.
Sorry.
transition.
Sorry. Thanks,
sorry
Ruthie.
for steering
Sorry,
us
skip
in
a
the wrong
beat. I
direction.
love
That's it
you.
for the NBA, guys. Let's go on to the NFL.
Yeah,
I love you,
exactly.
Ruthie. I
On
love
to the
you.
next.
All right. Listen, my
All right,
hope is that. Go ahead.
I have one question. How do we feel about the playoffs and the NFL combining? I mean, I'm sure they're not going to be playing any games on Sundays, I would hope. Where are the viewers going to go? Where are they going to go? Are they going to watch
They got to
NBA?
play the NBA.
Oh.
Look, like Eric said, with the days, there's going to have to be games on Sundays. And
Yeah.
here's the crazy thing. Like, you talk about the NBA, which, yes, does have its fans. I like the NBA. The NFL, though, if it comes back, when it comes back, you're still going to have Sundays, you're going to have Mondays, and you're going to have Thursday night ball. So, like, you're going to end your season October 12th, which, okay, is like a little bit past the first quarter, obviously, of the NFL season. But then you're going to start again on December 1st in playoffs. Now, I get when they start in October, most people, I hate the narrative like, oh, the season doesn't start till Christmas Day anyway. I hate that narrative. I really despise it. Sorry, I shouldn't use the H word. I despise that narrative. But you are going head-to-head with the NFL on Sunday, Monday, and Thursday. Now, Monday nights, again, since it can't be flex games, you might get lucky because, I mean, come on. We can admit throughout the past few years there's been quite a few duds on Monday Night Football.
But then again, there's been some Monday night games that we didn't think were going to amount to much. And
But you also have to understand. You also have to understand when they go down this road with the schedule, is they need to know. Look, I mean, we have always had Sunday NBA games, even during the NFL season. But this is different. If you are going to try and dominate the ratings, especially with the NHL postseason, they're about to come out with their date the next couple of weeks as well. They are actually planning to start before the NBA. And then we don't know what's going to happen with baseball as well. It's good to see that the NBA is taking this, but if the NFL starts on time and in September and you're already in your playoffs, you're going to have to you're going to have to find some time window in there that is going to work for you. I mean, it is going to be, hey, I'm going to finals or the Western Conference Finals. Actually, decidingly maybe take down Sunday football a step down a little bit, but we don't know that.
There's plenty. Listen, there's plenty of room. You want a simple solution? I'll give you a simple solution. You ready?
Ready.
Go for
When
it.
you get to October,
Okay.
or even when you get to September, as soon as the NFL starts, here's what you do. You play your Sunday games, you play your Monday games for NFL. Tuesday, Wednesday, you play your NBA. Thursday, you have a mix of the two because it's only one Thursday night game. So you could put two NBA games maybe at the 11 o'clock spot and the 3 o'clock spot, okay? And then Friday, Saturday, you have your NBA, and then your Sunday, you have your NFL. Now, that is how I break up a week to where we have sports every single day, and no one feels like they're not able to attract the ratings. It's giving the consumer what they want, which is every single day there's something on TV. And it's not just anything.
Actually, Eric,
some of it's high profile. Some of it is, an upset. Some of it is, well, we're going to watch the game because that's the only thing that's on.
but Eric, what can work best for the NBA is Tuesday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays.
That's what I said.
Okay, because yes, we know that college football is slowly trying to get back into this, but we still don't have that concrete decision if we're going to have college football on Saturday. So that could actually help the NBA, and they could actually take over that afternoon slot and take it right into like 9 o'clock at night. So anything is possible right now.
It's possible, but that's what I said you're forgetting, because if the NFL's playing, and granted, a lot of it is in cities that have college football in states. So, again, with college football being back on Saturdays, like, again, you're not going to kick off NBA games at like those East Coast early times. But like Jake said too, because believe me, I'll be glued to Stanley Cup playoffs. Like, I'll watch them all. But I'm just saying, like, if it comes down to seeing, a first-round NBA playoff game or set, you're talking about ratings, Eric. I mean, that's my point. Like, every single round in the NHL, I'll be there. But where it's interesting, though, is, like, when they talked about for the NBA, too, like, for next season, so October 12th would be the end. December 1st would be the start of the season. Free agent, like the NBA draft lottery was going to be, or the
October
draft was going to
15th.
be held
August. No.
August
The
25th.
lottery is August 25th.
August
The
25th.
draft is October 15th.
It's October 15th.
Okay.
Camps
All right, yeah.
open November 1st. They said free agency could be like basically flexible, but they gave a date. So again, the NBA's vision. But what does it do to next season? Because if you start in December, are you only playing 70 games or 60 games, I should say?
Honestly, Mike, they might push it off to past Christmas. They might start it at the beginning of 2021 instead, because there's just too much right now that is happening. And also, you don't want to take that chance, because here's something, and I'm going to play devil's advocate for a minute. What if this doesn't work? What if this actually becomes a disaster? What if there are too many positive tests where we have too many superstars out there? Then what are you saying then? Are you going to say, okay, now we'll see you guys on December 1st? It could be a possibility where they would push off the beginning of the season, maybe into January 2021.
Well, again, and it could be, but I just think that
advocate.
if you're, and again, I mean, it's a great point, but if you look at it, like, that'll be assuming that cities are open back up to an extent. If there still aren't fans in the stands, but again, even if you go after the new year, okay, yes, that's the tail end of the NFL, but you're not going to get any ratings on playoff days. The NFL's not moving for anybody, and they know that. So, I mean, I just think that, yes, the long-term effects, but I'm just saying if it does get started on December 1st, and they didn't say this, are they going to play 82 games? Because they don't want – there's no more back-to-back-to-backs. Yeah, you can have a back-to-back, but you're not going to have like 3 in a row. So it'll just be interesting to me if they do shorten it, like a strike-shortened season in a way, which I think they should do, to get back on the calendar. Because, look, we all know that going up against the NFL, like, come on, I mean, Major League Baseball, like when they have Sunday night baseball, like if the NFL games are always like the best on Sunday night, and we know that because of the flex.
Yeah,
so,
but in the first couple of weeks, Mike, the first couple of weeks of Sunday night games.
Well, right.
And by the time we get to, let's just say October 12th, which is like week 4 or week 5, by that point, baseball's over.
6.
So, week 6. Baseball's pretty much over. And that's when we really start pulling in some of these games. Now, not to take away from the first 5 weeks, because we have some classics that show up and show out. But primarily, now I'll say week 1 Sunday night game, that's a great game. You've got Dallas and the Chargers. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to see that week 1. Isn't that Sunday night?
It's the Rams.
Rams,
Oh,
sorry.
yeah, the Rams.
Because
Dallas
they're
and Rams.
opening up Stan Kroenke's.
Yeah, of course. They want the Cowboys to open up a stadium. Weird.
That's when they catch their first L. Anyhow, my point is that's a game that people want to see.
This back on.
No, please don't. Please don't.
Please do. Oh.
Mike, no one asked you. Please don't.
She did too, ask me.
It's fun being a lone Packer fan.
Hey, Jake.
Hey, Jake, by the way, I ordered that book that you recommended. It's supposed to be coming on Friday. I'm super excited. The Gunslinger.
Oh, Gunslinger?
Yes.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to read it.
It's an excellent book.
Yeah.
Hey, Jake.
Sorry, Eric.
No, that's all right. Jake, real talk, though. I got to show a lot of love to your quarterback right now. Aaron Rodgers, great man. Love him. I hope he is able to, lace up his bootstraps this year and have a successful season. That being said, back to basketball. I think that, Major League Baseball, if they play a 114 shortened season, whatever they decide to do, they'll figure it out. We all have to realize we all have that one sport that we gravitate to. And when playoffs come around, and Mike, you even said it, you're going to watch all of the Stanley Cup playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am a man who, when the NBA playoffs are going on, I'm watching the NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
That's what I'm watching. I'm watching first round to the finals. We all collectively.
I'm doing the jump. I'm just going back and forth. I'm going back and forth.
I have multiple TVs in my house, so I kind of just,
No, actually, that's a good point. What I actually do for my TV, I turn on the NHL playoffs, and then on the NBA playoffs, I have it on my laptop.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, Ruthie's got 5 TVs with 5 different cable hookups.
Oh, yeah,
so
she's got,
I
like-
guess I know where we're
No,
all
during
going.
football season. No,
I
during
guess I know
football
where we're
season,
all
my
going
friends
for
make fun of
playoffs,
me
guys.
because I will not leave my house on Sundays, and I'll be in my living room with my 2 TVs with 2 different games, and then I'll have another game on my laptop. And my
Well,
friends,
thanks for inviting us over. We appreciate it. We'll be there.
Listen,
Well,
I got
Mike,
red.
Mike, if you need somewhere to stay, if you want to come to, cover the playoffs with me and Eric and Jake, you're more than welcome to stay in my guest room.
Oh, thank you.
you.
Thank you.
We got
And
you.
I'd have to buy Eric White Castle because I would have lost.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
I
bring
love
all
it.
the White Castle, please.
Well,
I'm
if you can
Wellington.
put it, Eric, fine, baller. If you can put in for my credential that I'm with you and I get it, then I guess I'll have to trek out to Orlando.
I guess you will.
Yes,
Mike, I will
that's
definitely.
about
You know
3
me. I'll
games.
put it on there, bruh. I will
Well, now
definitely
that I
do
can
it.
stay with Ruthie, I mean, I want to stay in a classy place like Ruthie's because there'd be some cowboy stuff there, so that'd be good.
Everywhere.
What, the Radisson isn't available?
Oh,
No, it's blocked off for quarantine. In any event, guys, this has been awesome as always. Thank y'all so much
As
for
always.
joining me on this. Ruth Caguias, Sports Talk Florida, Michael Carotenuto, NBC Sports Radio 1060, a Sports Hangover, and of course my brother Jake Rongholt. Great conversation. Your man Eric Wilson, Sports Arena. Everyone.